song.
3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody, welcome to the latest episode of Smac Talk. Today I've got a wonderful, fantastic online coach with me today, Peadar Hughes. Thanks so much for coming on for me.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's a pleasure.
I sort of said there before, it's like, it'll sound like I'm kissing your ass. It's because I am. That's why we're sort of cheesing over here. But yeah, I guess we'll just start off plain and simple. I got good feedback from my last podcast with Emma. We sort of did a lot of like feminine issues and stuff, so thanks everyone for that. And also, we are now live on Spotify, Apple, what are the other ones called? Spotify, Apple, Anchor, iTunes, wherever else you listen to your podcasts, Google Podcasts, and we now have a video format, which you're probably hopefully watching. So yeah, very excited with all that. Smac Talk is taking leaps and bounds forwards here, and no better man to kick all this new stuff off with Peadar. So Peadar, just tell me basically, like, you're online coaching at the minute. I'm really interested in knowing online coaching to PTing, what's your sort of like taking it and why you lean more so towards the online coaching side?
Yeah, well, I get asked this a lot. People's always like, is it the same thing and stuff? Mainly the reason I'm online is because I started like last year, and there was no real hope of going into the gym. But I'm sort of glad because the thing was always online for me. I never really wanted to do on the floor personal training. Just because there's a lot of controversy. People's like, oh, you need to be a PT before you're an online coach. I sort of see it as like a separate thing altogether. Yeah. And there was a brief time where I did try to do both, and it's just not the same thing at all. And I don't really have an opinion on what's better. I think a good coach is a good coach, whether that's online and on the gym floor, whatever it is.
I think it comes down for a lot of people. Like I remember talking to Ryan about it. He just loved the in-person aspect of it.
Exactly.
He loved being one-to-one with someone and like physically seeing someone. And I suppose it just comes down to then what you rather.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised I'm actually more introverted than you would realise. So like it makes me happier just sitting at the laptop, earphones in, music for fucking 2-3 hours than sitting on the gym floor with someone.
It's actually funny to say, because a lot of people you see on social media, even myself, like I host a podcast, you'd probably think most people watching like, oh, he's a really outgoing fella. There's nothing more I love than sitting on my own. Literally nothing. Like, and people like, even something stupid like, when you're out on your walk or something during the day and like you're like, please don't say hello to me. The random person coming towards you. It's like, I don't want to say hello to them. You just sort of keep your head down and like move away.
I think it's called like an ambivert. I think I am. I think you're like a wee bit of both. Like I sort of sit somewhere in between that, like, because sometimes I'm just like, oh, and then other times like that. Fuck off.
I mean, it can be a wee bit different when I get a few drinks in me. Probably everyone goes a bit mad, but unfortunately over the last course of the year that hasn't really
that hasn't been much of an issue.
And also thanks, you brought me a wee Blue Monster here. I'm going to tuck into this. Anyone that knows me knows I don't drink caffeine, so this is I'm
fucking excited.
This is going to get interesting. Yeah, so I drink, well, that's a lie, I drink tea, about 15 cups of tea a day, so like
that's a big step off.
Yeah,
tea, mate.
So we'll take a wee sip of this and see how it goes. But you drink much of this sort of stuff yourself for the gym and things like that as well?
Yeah, I probably have a wee bit of a dependency on the likes of caffeine and stuff, to be honest with you, but needs must.
Yeah. How have you been coping without the gym? Because obviously a lot of your stuff is based around fitness and things. What's it like without the gyms?
See, it's sort of hard to give an answer to this because, like, on the one hand, I don't enjoy the home training and stuff. Like, it's just it's not it's not doing it for me. But all my clients are loving it, so I'm just trying. It's hard to find the balance between motivating them as much as I can while trying to motivate myself with it.
Yeah.
I don't really have much in the way of equipment, like, but I suppose I'm just sort of taking over. Like, it was really pissing me off around this time last year, and then I was like, listen, no matter how I feel about this is happening either way. And I can't remember who it was said it, like, you can't control what happens to you, but you can't control how you feel about it. So I'm just trying to be as optimistic as I can with it, trying to focus on different things and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's fair enough. I suppose, like, going back then, just to get a wee bit more on you, like, where did this sort of start from? Like, because you obviously don't just be born and be like, I want to be... Does anyone start out at a young age and think, I want to be an online coach?
Yeah, I think that's like no, definitely not. Like, it's such a random thing. I'll tell you what actually happened. So, it was like 2-3 years ago. I was sort of toying with the idea, and I was, for some reason, posting a load of fitness stuff, even though I wasn't like set on doing this yet. I was just sort of, I was just sort of
Mike is taking a hammer.
Yeah, for anyone listening, I keep smacking the mic because I can't talk without my hands. Yeah, about 2-3 years ago, started posting fitness related stuff. I know real end goal, and it was actually a lad, Ronan McAvoy. You might know Ronan.
Oh yeah,
he's a coach too, and he DM'd me and was like, hey, love your fitness stuff, was just wondering if you got your PT qualification yet. And in my head I was like, this fucker's gonna fucking call me out, saying I'm not even qualified, but that's not it. He was just saying you should check out Elite Belfast, that's where he got qualified. And I like them on Facebook and stuff, and then it's just sort of snowballed from there. The last
Joe, I love about that story. This is just someone random, well, probably random enough. Or do you know them at the time? Do you know Ronan?
No, I know him now, but I didn't back
someone
then.
Completely random at the time goes, you know what, you should go and do this.
Yeah,
I'll just give you that like nudge of Joe, like, of encouragement that you probably needed.
And he probably changed my life without even realising it. Like,
unbeknown to him, like.
Exactly, and like that was a good thing for him because he's qualified and stuff. Like, that's I'm technically competition to him, even though like we're mates, I would know him. But he lent me that hand, so I'm really grateful to him for that.
Yeah, so you got on and did your PT course then. And then what did you think of that, or like how did that go? What did you think of the PT course in general? Because I know there's a lot of people that give it sort of, guff is like it's just like a tick the box exercise. You have the piece of paper now.
Yeah.
Go and learn the real stuff.
Well, that's I was in the tech, as I was saying to you before this. I was doing the same sort of qualification you were. So I was throwing about the idea. I was going to do something with fitness, but I didn't know what it was. And with the tech, I could do the course, the certification for £200, and then with Elite, it was, I'm not going to say their prices, but significantly dearer than that. Like in the 10 times that sort of dearer. Like,
really?
And at the time, I remember my sister was like, just get the fucking qualification. I was like, no, there's something about this. Like, they really seem good. So I went for it, and yeah, I fucking loved it. Like, honestly, like, obviously, there's a wee bit of boring content and stuff. It's like you were saying, fucking sliding film and theory, and anatomy and stuff. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I loved it. I really did. And the lad who's up there, he's a good friend of mine, the absolute legend.
And do you think there was like, do you think it was worth paying 10 times more? Because I know mine was based. Well, I have a level 2, but like the level 2 is. I'm sorry to anyone listening to this, but if you don't pass your level 2,
I think it's
actually
easy,
some of the questions are actually pretty insulting. Like, it's like comes down like how many fruit and veg did you eat today, and you're just like, oh sweet Jesus. Like,
yeah, I remember doing that exam. I was like, oh, this is really hard.
Yeah, or like point to the picture of a skull. You're like, oh god,
fuck, which one is it?
But yeah, so you've went down that route, and then you thought that qualification, there's benefits to doing it. Like obviously more expensive. Like what sort of stuff were you doing up there? Obviously you don't need to give away what they're doing, but like for people that are considering doing the £200 one versus the £2,000 one, what sort of things would you say to them?
Well, for me, I was just thinking, is this going to be worth the extra money? Because like I didn't have too fucking.
It's a lot of money at a young age.
I was working at B&Q, fucking £600 to £700 a month, and yeah, like I couldn't afford it. I'll happily admit that. Like it was hard for me to afford that, but I was like, if I invest myself this wee bit more, I should see some sort of return on it.
Yep. And
like I had no idea what I was in for, like in terms of like he helped me a lot in terms of my own business, in terms of growing that when I was being qualified. So return on that was unbelievable. Like it wasn't, I wouldn't say for any second that I regret taking the big plunge, but it was definitely a big risk at start.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because even I was saying to you about like this podcast and stuff. Like I spent more than I care to admit how much I spent at the time. Like this was first lockdown last year, jobs were like on the line, you didn't know what you're getting paid. I just thought, fuck it, all in, buy all this stuff and see where it goes. And I'm in a situation now, thank God, where like I've picked up a few jobs and like this is starting to pick up. So like I guess the advice is just, if you're considering about doing it, do it properly. Just
do it. And that's it. The same thing happened when I went to quit my job, which I'm sure we'll get to at some stage. I could not, like financially it wasn't the smartest decision. It was sort of, but I probably couldn't afford to, but when you put yourself on the line, you always pull through. That's what I sort of realised. Like if you give yourself that, that's why I always talk
take away your safety sort of thing.
Take away your safety, sink or swim. Exactly. Yeah.
I was actually talking to someone the other day about that analogy, sink or swim, and it sort of got interesting the way we talked about it, because a lot of situations you get put in is sink or swim, but I think with the situation you just talked about, it was sink, swim, or take off.
Yeah,
there's a third option.
Exactly.
If you're in a situation, I think, where like you're sinking or swimming, you're not getting up, you're not elevating yourself to the next level. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to stay. I don't like that analogy just based on the fact that you don't want to stay swimming.
Yeah, I had to thrive, otherwise I wasn't. Yeah,
that's what I mean. But the point I'm trying to make is you had the option to thrive by making that investment in yourself and going down this sort of path you do. So like a lot of people that I know out there like work like say like a 9-to-5 jobs. Like, are you just surviving that job? Does it have like potential ceiling where like you can like get better and like move up the ladder?
Yeah.
Or are you just constantly going to be swimming forever? It's also you're not sinking, but like, are you actually getting up the ladder? Are you doing better? I think it's like a big thing that I've realized within the last couple of months, and especially just the way you said that phrase, sink or swim, just really stuck out to me.
I'm probably going to throw out like a million analogies and quotes. I'm a fucker for that, so just be prepared for that.
I probably come out with some, but mine are like, you'll never hear them before. Like the analogies I come out with are wild. People look at me, people look at me and go, "That's not a thing." Like I'm like, yeah, but if you think about it, it makes sense up here. But when it comes out, not a hope. So we've got the PT side of it. You've gotten your coaching, and then so where are we at now? You've sort of like developed this like online coaching sort of presence. So you decided, no, PT not for me, online coaching. Yeah. And you've got like, how does that start? How do you even start going about online coaching?
Well, there's a bit of a story to this, Shock. So the lad the CEO of Elite and stuff like that, he actually messaged me one day. I was like, well, what are you doing this Saturday? And I was like, oh, I'm working at B&Q, work there every Saturday. And he was like, could you get it off? I was like, oh, what's it for? He was like, he coaches how to grow the fitness business and stuff. That's his thing. And he was like, I want you to come to this event I'm running. You can come for free. All the lads are paid for it. I fucking hope he doesn't mind me saying that if he's listening to this. Sorry, Lenny. So he invited me that for free. So I was like, that's a big fucking opportunity. So I needed to get off work. they were cunts about it, but I got it anyway. I got it off, and when I was there, that's when I realized I was actually qualified, because the course is like January to May. It's like really long, but that's you know, you said like level 2.
Yeah.
You get like your level 3, you get your nutrition, you get kettlebells, you get extra certifications. So I technically was qualified. I just wasn't done the course.
Yeah.
Get what I'm saying? And he told me that on that day, and I was like, "What? So I can start coaching people now?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, right? Okay." They're unbelievable, yeah. So I actually tried to get into a gym, and I went to a meeting with the gym manager and stuff. I'm not going to say who it is, but I was just a wee bit like, this seems a bit weird. This doesn't seem like it's right for me. I'll give it a few months, then maybe come back to the gym. So I was trying the online stuff for a while, and that just sort of took off from there then.
So you said you're going to do online. What is it like? How do you even like? Because when you're in a gym floor, a PT will approach you actively every single day. All the people see struggling, they'll say some sort of complicated thing today, like, have you ever tried like some sort of split? And you're like, what's that? And he goes, well, I can show you.
Yeah,
like that's the hook, and that's how to get you in. How on earth do you go about online coaching someone when you haven't got that presence to go reach them? Is it just through the power of social media?
Well, yeah, I just sort of market off social media and then email as well. But the thing is with that, it's like, I think a lot of people say it's like talking to a crowded room. Like you said before, there's so many fucking, not even just coaches, just people in general trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not trying to, like you said, approach gym floor. I'm not trying to approach everyone. I'm just trying to work with people who I genuinely feel I can help.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of how I work. That's why you'll always see me talking about certain things that either really resonate with you or really, really, really don't.
Yeah, exactly. So then I guess even before, well, because I said like we like to like get sort of like the gist of where you're at now, but let's go back. Let's go
for it,
because you weren't always doing coaching. You weren't always in good shape. Like
no,
I think
fat.
Yeah, that's
say it.
I can't say it. So you used to be fat, as you said, and like was that always the way? Like were you always like just a big child, or like
well, like not the 6. Like I think everyone was sort of skinny back then, but yeah, it was just like I just didn't have the best eating habits and stuff, and then like 7 to like 13 probably I was always overweight. The only time I actually got thin was when I broke my back when I was 15, which a lot of people don't actually know.
Broke your back?
Broke my fucking back, yeah. And obviously I lost a lot of weight because I was lying in a hospital bed.
I'm gonna need that story.
Okay, right. So I was on a shed roof, like a barn that you keep cattle in, and we were like bouncing on it, and all just like obviously I was gonna go through it, straight fucking through it, into a load of cows. Fell into like, you know, like a cattle grid that they like shit on and shit through. So I fell into cow shit.
What?
With a load of cows around me. They started going fucking mad. They were jumping about, and I was just sort of like fuck. So I stood up. I actually thought I broke my leg. It was really sore. And I looked down and my arm was like this. I was like shit. So I just sort of like grabbed my arm like that, got out of the wee grid and just fell back, collapsed. I was that fucked. I just fell like 20 something foot. I should have died, and didn't even know about the back. Went to the hospital and they were scanning my arm, and then they seen like I had cracked my pelvis, and you know your spinal columns like vertebrae. I like compressed one of them and it was cracked like halfway across, another couple of inches, and
I was gonna say
like,
oh my god,
compressed and fracture on my L3 vertebrae.
That's quite low, isn't it? L3,
yeah, that's your lumbar spine. That's like literally.
So that would have been waist down basically.
Yeah, essentially.
Jesus,
I know, it's mad. I don't ever really talk about that. People's like, you broke your fucking back. I'm like, yeah, but it was years ago. It's not that big a deal. Like, how is that not a big deal?
I feel like that's like one of them like conversation starters.
Yeah,
like, oh well, how's it going? Do you know I nearly like was paralyzed? Yeah,
that's the doctor said to me. They were like, you're a lucky boy, and I was like, am I? I didn't even think it was that bad, but like it actually, like it's taller than this house. Like it is huge. Yeah, it's really, really big. So
what did your friends do?
He was up there. I swear to God, the first thing he shouted, he goes, "Are you dead?" I was like, "Fuck me!" Like I was like, come down here." So he came down and went and got his dad. I went to the hospital. I should have got an ambulance, but I didn't. My dad took me to the hospital.
Real men don't get ambulances.
I know, like, but that's it. If I'd realised my fucking back at the time, I would have been like, shit.
Oh my god, I actually didn't realise, because you know they always hear like, oh, I feel like my back's broke or I broke my back there, like an actual thing. What happened if like, so if it was fully the way through on your like your L3, that paralyzed? Yeah,
paralyzed. A couple of millimeters, I think it was.
And do you
I
think
was cracked like halfway across?
Do you think that changed anything for you? Do you think like do some people say that was a life changing moment?
I think it was a near death experience, definitely.
If it wasn't a life changing moment, don't like make it out to be one.
No,
but,
no.
If something happened,
it wasn't life changing. Like it was just sort of like I stopped playing football. I suppose that was a big thing because I always played football, so I wasn't fat as fuck, for want of a better phrase, because I was active playing football. So at that stage, I stopped playing football. That probably led to me gaining weight, which probably led to me going to the gym inadvertently without realizing. But I wouldn't say it was like a big pivotal moment. I was only like 15.
Yeah, you didn't have like some sort of like
I
appreciate
like
life so much more. Yeah, this was meant to be and all this sort of stuff.
Well, I wasn't like that now.
That's fascinating. So then that's the stage where you started putting on weight.
Yeah, I would say that's when I started piling on again. See, there's like 4 phases now where I've got chubby, so that we're gonna have to go through this.
Yeah. So is that phase 1?
No, that's I was fat before that, and then I lost it all when I broke my back, and then I got fat again, and I lost it all, and then I got fat again about 2 years ago, and then now I'm all right.
It's always hard for me to understand because I have always been a stick figure, like always my whole life. Like now that I'm a wee bit older and went to uni, I put on a bit of weight, but like I was always like, if it turned sideways, I disappeared. Like honestly, like there's never anything to me. So whenever I hear like people who are like overweight and stuff when they're younger, it's just something difficult for me to like wrap my head around because.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah, I know. I'm lucky. I remember actually one time a guy in school made fun of me because I was so skinny.
Yeah,
and I just like. I don't understand. Like, why would you make fun of someone for being skinny?
People
like,
need to say that's worse though, don't they? Like, I know, like when I was younger, people used to be like, "Oh, I wish I wasn't so skinny." I was like, "I wish I wasn't so fucking fat." You want to swap?
What do you think about There's been a thing recently where like, do you like them like meal prep things have been targeted towards kids?
I don't like the idea of it personally. Like, I've coached people who are 17, 18, but I think younger than that, I'd be like, you don't need meal prep, you don't need coaching, you just need to go outside and play with your friends and eat a wee bit less, you know what I mean? Like it's
you're a kid, like you burn off energy when you're going outside.
Yeah, like I think you're sort of going down the road of eating disorders and stuff if you go that too young, I think personally. But
yeah, no, I definitely agree because I remember like one of the big names around here, not get put on blast in case I'm appearing on his channel on a Thursday evening, that's all I have to say.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like bringing him up from time to time. He used to put up transformations from children.
I did see he had coached a child before. Yeah, which, pretty young lad.
But then like would post like before and after photos, which I don't know if I'm just being oversensitive these days, but that's mind blowing.
I don't even want to give an opinion on it. I wouldn't do it personally.
It's crazy. I just think like kid coaching. I don't know. I think you'd be better educating the parents.
Yeah, and the thing is, the way I go about it is like calorie control diet and stuff. I wouldn't give that to a child, but if I was going to give a child a step goal, if I was going to give a child, okay, you're going to eat this, maybe that's okay, but once you start getting them into this fucking number matrix, I think that's a wee bit borderline obsessive. I don't think they're ready to do that yet. Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah, with a child you can like generalize it down to a lifestyle sort of thing. Let me see what you do on a daily basis. Like, let me see the size of the plate you're eating off. Like, stuff like that.
Exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. No, it's shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So back to you then. You sort of started putting on. You've put on weight then. What sort of weight are we talking about? Like what would you constitute was like fat or like? Did you ever get on scales and stuff like that? Or
I can't even remember weight back then. But like 5th year, 6th year, 7th year in school, I was just like I was overweight. You know, I wasn't fucking fat. When I say this, I sort of feel bad because then people come to me and they're like bigger than I was.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, do they think I'm calling them fat? Because I'm not by any means. Just by my own personal standards, I had got a bit bigger than I'd like to be. You'd probably just call it chubby, to be honest with you. But it was more of like I hold it my face even now when I'm a bit leaner. Like I just get this big fat face. So that was all. You'll obviously photos of my Instagram with a big chubby face from a few years ago. Like, but no, it wasn't anything drastic. Like it wasn't health issues or anything. Just pretty overweight. Like.
All right, okay. So then you obviously, was there something then that just flipped a switch in your brain that was like, I want to lose this, or was it just always something eating away at you, or like what was the thing that actually made you actively seek to lose weight then?
Well, I'd done it right. So after I broke my back, I was 2015. I went to the gym then 2016, 12th of January 2016. I only remember that because there's a photo of me from that date and it says the date on it. 12th of January, that's when I actually started like going to the gym and stuff, but I'll openly admit that I was going for years with little to no progress. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. So 2016, 2020, I was always going to the gym, but I was never dieting. I never had a coach. Didn't know what I was doing. Just fucking about, you know. Obviously lost a bit of weight because more activity, blah, blah, blah. But I just yo-yo dieted every now and then. Just, I'm not eating bread for the next 3 weeks.
Oh, you would have tried like different like things.
That's why I give them so much shit now. Because like, yes, they work for some people, definitely. But for the vast majority of people who I know, I don't think that's for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've definitely fallen victim to that because like there's so many good like platforms and like people on Instagram like yourself, like obviously I follow a lot of like Tony McAleavey stuff, like so many like really good educational people. I've sort of like come a wee bit like naive to the amount of people that still believe in like don't eat bread, sugars, stuff like that.
I was going to do a post about it recently and then I was like, oh no, nobody even thinks that anymore. And then I was like, wait, a lot of people actually still do believe. And like,
I would say the majority of people.
Yeah, and even like the fucking slim and shakes and stuff. Like people I seen a woman pick one up in Home Bargains the other week and I was just sort of like looking at her like out there. They just put it down and I was like, you fucking
yeah, because like I don't know, the amount of people that like you sort of, once you become educated in something, I think you become a wee bit arrogant to the people that, you know, maybe haven't had the education you've had, or like you just, it's hard to stay in touch with those sort of people. But I think one thing that I've learned from like working on a gym floor was people come in and say the classic is, I want to tone up, I want to lose weight and build muscle, and you're looking at them like, that is physically impossible. You can pick one now and we'll figure it out. But because of like circumstances, I'm not an online coach. I'm just there to like sort of like guide you. Yeah, you just tell them, yeah, no problem. Because I'm not going to start breaking down why you can't. You're going down a minefield. I'll maybe send them over your way. I was like, follow this guy on Instagram from now on. I'll get cards and go follow this guy.
Yeah, I'll give you a wee set of cards.
But like that's a big thing. I think people like, especially like coaches, it's important for you because you put up something recently that was like it was like, I'm talking to like my audience here. You said that in one of your posts recently, like I know like I'm talking out loud here, but I'm talking to the people that I know, that I engage. I know my demographics.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was that on a live video, was it?
I can't remember.
I think I do remember saying. I would say that a lot because when I say things, I'm generalizing. Like I'm like, cutting out carbs is fucking stupid, but it's not though, because if you're a bodybuilder 2 weeks out of a show, you're probably gonna need to cut out carbs. So I'm not talking to a big steroided bodybuilder. I'm talking to, you know, you and me, a lad our age who, you know, wants to drop a few pounds or something. A girl our age who wants to drop a few pounds. Sorry, you know, like that's what I'm saying by that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's not for everybody, but
yeah. And do you think there's become like, do you think Instagram and like places like that are starting to make people feel, because there's a lot of people posting sort of stuff that you're posting, do you think that a lot of that, do you ever feel like that sort of content makes people feel bad about themselves?
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, it's such a hard one, because obviously what I'm doing is I'm helping people lose weight, but I'm also helping them get over like serious self-confidence issues, serious motivation issues, maybe some sort of disordered eating, not an eating disorder, but disordered eating. So they're very fucking touchy subjects.
So there's a difference there, eating disorder and disorderly eating.
So eating disorder, I would say like anxiety, or anxiety, what's what I'm looking for?
Like bulimia,
anorexia, bulimia, orthorexia. They're like eating disorders, but disordered eating is what I would say I had.
Okay.
Like, some people might call that a food addiction. I don't really think it's a thing personally, but it's just like not the best eating habits and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would call disordered eating.
So what sort of stuff would you have been like eating before?
Like just pure shite. Like I hate calling food shite, but I just ate shite.
Yeah.
But the point I was trying to say, I just want to go back to this. That's why I don't give advice on eating disorders, because that's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know what I mean? That's a physical health issue, in my opinion.
Oh, right, okay. So you think that like you can overcome, say, bad eating habits?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like obviously anorexia, you know, bulimia and stuff, like they probably need some sort of mental intervention. Yeah, but I don't understand them. That's why I say that.
Yeah, that's something we only had a 5-minute conversation before I started. That's something else we touched on. If you don't know something, you're happy to pass it on.
Exactly. Yeah.
To someone else.
Yeah. And if someone comes to me and they're like, "Oh, I need this, and this," I'm like, "Listen, I don't do that, but you can go to this lad here." Like someone asked me recently about movement and mobility and stuff, and obviously I know a bit about it, but I was like, "Listen, check out this lad. He's a friend of mine. He's a coach. He's good at that stuff." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, that's actually fascinating, because like the amount of people that you see are like, it's almost as if there's this culture that people think that like PTs and online coaches are driving this narrative of you have to look a certain way. But from just what you said there now, I picked up on, it's the mental health aspect. I guarantee if you get in better shape, you feel better mentally.
Feel better about yourself, yeah. And that's
like it has to be 100%. And people, I think, get really caught up in, you don't think it's beautiful or this shape or that shape. Like, in the end of the day, it is a difficult thing to bring up, but like, whenever you do lose weight, if you have been carrying a wee bit like overweight, because everyone knows themselves whether or not you're overweight. As you said, you're like a wee bit chubbier and like that. Whenever you come back, you'll be in a better place mentally.
Definitely, and I know what it did for me, and that's why I speak to people. I speak from experience. I'm not guessing. I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've been there yourself and you've done it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you are overweight and you are happy,
and that's the thing, and like people are like, "Oh, should you love yourself if you're obese and stuff?" And I'm like, I'm not going to give an opinion on that, because that's subjective to every person. Like people ask me about that, like, should you epitomize a six pack? You know that people are either you have to get shredded, that's fitness, or no, that's not fitness. A friend of mine did a post on this recently. I thought it was brilliant. It was like, I'm not really of the opinion of either, because if a client comes to me wants to get fucking shredded, I'll do that. If they don't, if they want to be a bit more flexible, I'll do that. I used to be like, oh, restrictive diet and all, but it's not really up to me anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I personally don't like it, so I'm not going to do it. Someone comes to me and they want to do it, so be it.
So then I guess like the next point is like, whenever you have a transformation photo, you're more so, as much as you can tell a lot of things from a photo, really what you're most satisfied with is the person's mental state by the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously the physical state, you know, I'm not like a mental health coach, like, but that's so important to me. And when people say things like I always ask people like, well, what's your biggest wins this week and stuff in the check-in, when they're like, only lost 3 pounds but never felt better, never felt more confident, I'm like, fucking yes. You know, clothes fit better, yes. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's life, like, because obviously there's fucking more life to fitness, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I guess that's the hard point of selling online coaching and like personal training. It's, yes, people want to look a certain way, and you can tell that through photos, but like, it's actually a very difficult thing to convey how your clients feel after the program, because not everybody reads them spiels after the transformation photos.
Exactly,
the testimonials and stuff like that there. And I guess if you're going to pick up anything from this, it's going to be, yes, why the photos look great, but I guarantee the person feels 10 times better.
Well, I think when people look at them photos, they don't, obviously they think, oh, that's class body transformation, but I think that person is better in general, because you don't want to lose weight because your joints are sore or because you're unhealthy. You want to lose weight because you don't feel good about the fact that you're overweight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing for me. That's why I put such a focus on like confidence and stuff, because people don't want a six pack. They want to feel like someone who has a six pack. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think, I sort of see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people epitomize like a toned shape or like a six pack. Some people really think that's what they want.
Yeah. Fucking hell, right? I'm just gonna sit back with it. Definitely.
But because I've always been that way, and I know, like, even talking to my own girlfriend, she always says like, I would love to look like that, like a certain girl or whatever. And I always sit there being like, she would say to me like, would you not love to look like that fella that has abs? Because I always express the point of, I don't care if I have abs or not, as long as I feel healthy, I'm happy with that. But it's something like, I think that she feels, hopefully she's not listening, she doesn't listen to these anyway because she listens to me enough, but I feel like that's something like a lot of people get caught up in. Like, they want, I think what you're right in what you're saying, but a lot of people do want the physical. Definitely. And that's all they're focused on. Definitely. And I think it's more about opening up that, like,
what is it that you actually want?
Yeah, and what is it?
Help them with that. Yeah.
That'll only get you so much, really. Looking that certain way will make you only feel so much, really.
Exactly. That's why I always try to get like an actual why out of people. So if they're like, I was on the phone to a lad today, for example. I was like, what do you want from working with me? He's like, I want to lose weight. I was like, okay, why do you want to lose weight? He was like, oh, I just feeling a wee bit. And I was like, that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear you want to. Why do you want to lose weight? I want to get fit. Nobody gives a fuck how fit they are. You know what I mean? People want to feel good. They want to look good. Yeah. So that's why I always ask people why. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, because I was definitely struggling with fitness over the last 2 years. Like, I wasn't really running. I was always relatively like fit, played football, blah blah blah. Stepped away from football, and then now I think it was 2 or 3 years without playing football. And this season I decided to get back into football, and that's been my driving factor for running 5Ks and getting back out again.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
You have some sort of purpose behind it, like it's leverage.
Exactly. Like, it's all coming back. It's actually what you're saying there makes a whole lot of sense, because you just had no drive for it. As I said, I didn't want abs, so like.
Exactly. 90 mile an hour going nowhere.
Yeah. And then you talked about as well, just while we're on the abs, like, you as a coach personally, people would say you're out of shape, which is mental, but you're saying like you don't have abs, and like, do you think people look down on that, or like, is it like some sort of like fitness like industry like talk?
Yeah, well, I think the fitness industry is always, I think it was James Smith who said it, that the only other job that requires you to be in better shape would be a full-time model. Or like bodybuilder or something. So like the fitness industry is the second job in the world. What you think about is actually true, that you have to be in good shape for. So looking at me, you probably wouldn't pick me for someone who's a personal trainer, and that's what the point I was trying to make. Like, I'm not overly big, I'm not overly lean. Like, yes, I'm probably in better shape than the average person, but I was just trying to say, like, I'm not where I want to be. I want to be bigger, I want to be leaner, but I think a lot of people are stuck in that. They're too concerned about where they're not and not where they're going. Yeah, if that makes sense.
I think what you said there is sort of true, but then again, there's always the other side of it. Like, because you see a lot of coaches that say, do you need to be in shape? And it's like one of them like topics you would talk about. Does your coach need to be in shape? Yeah. And as cheeky as that might sound, the only coaches that say you don't need to be in shape are the coaches that aren't in shape.
I would probably agree with you. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But I would probably agree with you. And to an extent, I've seen trainers, I don't know any by name, so there's nobody, like, if anybody gets triggered, I'm not talking to you. I've seen trainers I was in the gym in England, and he was really, really overweight, and I was like, that's maybe a wee bit too far. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would class myself slightly. That's okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm not obese. Do you know what I mean? I think you do need to have a baseline of health, obviously, and you need to know what you're talking about and stuff.
Yeah, I think you can't be going into a gym and being like some guy trying to tell you how to lose weight or be healthy or be fitter, and they're clearly out of shape themselves.
Yeah, because people ultimately are going to look up to you to an extent. You know what I mean? Even at that, I have clients who are in better shape than me, but like, people are going to look up to you. Yeah, definitely. But I'm glad to see that the fitness industry is moving away from, like, I think the 80s and 90s was like a heavily fucking steroid abused sort of era. Like, and I'm just glad to see it's more lifestyle coaching now. I think that's what it's called.
Because that's something actually I don't really write down questions, but one thing I had in my notes was talking about online coaching, and why has it become now. Instead, it's not always about getting in shape and like educating people in terms of fitness. A lot of it now has become mental posts and like physical and unlocking people's mentalities. Where along the line, because as you said there, you've done like physical qualifications, your PT and stuff. Where along the line have people decided now that they're, I suppose, qualified to give people this sort of advice?
I couldn't agree more with you on this, because I think, and I'm guilty of it too, I think there's a thing with coaches maybe stepping out of their lane a wee bit. And the reason I say that is because I'm guilty of that. I'm talking to me when I say that. And I think that's more along the lines of trying to help people with issues that they know that they're going to face. So rather than saying, I know you're overweight, I know you don't have confidence, I know you don't have motivation. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, and then I think it's a slippery slope. Then it goes into talking about other things. But yeah, I agree with you. I think some people maybe dial that back a wee bit.
Yeah, because I see a lot of people, they just like, I'm trying to think of examples, and like
But then you've the likes of, sorry, but for you had Ryan Cinnamon on. Obviously, he's going to talk about motivation, inspiration, because he's an inspirational character. You know what I mean?
Because the funny thing about Ryan was, and hopefully he's listened to this, the thing I found motivation about Ryan was not just the story and what he's overcome, which, like, you know, amazing, like unbelievable, but he's still motivating. The things he talks about and the way he talks about it is motivating. He doesn't just relate back. Well, sure, it'd be very easy for him to turn around and go, well, look what I came through. Look what I came through.
For it, but he's thriving off it instead.
He's thriving off all this other stuff. He could have just sat there easily and goes like, I learned to walk again. I walk like 2 miles these days and blah, 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 from like the stage where I couldn't even get out of bed. He could easily use that every single day, but instead he's like, I am now coaching people how to get in better shape. Like, just as I said earlier, this is the perfect analogy. That sink or swim. He didn't just stay at the swim stage. Exactly, he literally got himself up and above, and it was definitely something like when I was talking to him, like, that's why this in-person stuff works so much better. It's unbelievable. Like you said again today, the stage where you just talked about like how like I should have died. He said the exact same thing.
Oh, I thought you were talking. I was like, I thought you meant I said you should have died.
No. I'm happy to be alive.
And I don't know him personally, but I know, like, I went to the same school as him, so they would have gave his story and stuff. He very was nearly dying. Like, that's the thing, and that's why it's so mad, I think. And to see him doing what he's doing now is fucking amazing. Like, not even just thriving, but helping people with fitness and stuff and health. Absolutely unbelievable. And I know another trainer as well. He has one leg. He's an amputee. He's a good friend of mine. And again, I just love seeing that, because he could have carried away, could have been a victim about it, but he's embraced it, and look how popular he is as a result. Do you know what I mean?
But then going back to our point of these coaches, like, I feel like a lot of coaches now are turning around and saying, especially these, like, this wave of online coaching that's come out, it's sort of like this bulletproof mentality that's come out, and like how I don't want to seem rude to a lot of people, but like a lot of them come across as in like, I am perfect in my mentality and like I have it all figured out. I get that vibe off a lot of online coaches, and like they're saying a lot of stuff they're saying is, I know how to like make this better, or I figured this out. But realistically, a lot of online coaching, it's all very new. Everyone's in their 20s, maybe touching 30 if you're lucky.
Yeah, and it's a new industry as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole new wave. I don't even know where online coaching came from.
I'm reading a book about this at the minute, Changemaker it's called, and he was talking about that. He was like, fitness in general, it's in its infancy, and that's so new. And I think that's why you're seeing such a shift between like the 80s and 90s to now and stuff, because people are still figuring it out. Nobody has it figured out, and I don't know what you mean. I don't really follow many coaches and stuff, so I wouldn't really see it.
Yeah,
but I'm sure it's definitely there. Like I have seen it in fucking Facebook ads and stuff. But I couldn't agree more. Like, it's brand new, especially online. Like, fitness is new, online is even newer, like sub 10 years sort of thing.
And what do you think personally is the benefits to like you being online?
Honestly, it's probably just volume. Like, I can help more people around the world in a more efficient manner.
Yeah,
that's
a simple question, dude.
That's basically it. Yeah, it's not like I feel it's any more beneficial or any less beneficial than on the floor. Like I said earlier, a good coach, whatever way they do it. I just like the idea that I can spread that wee bit further.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. And see, whenever you then got into your fitness journey, I know we're going back and forth here, whenever you got into your fitness journey personal, was the changing point for you getting a coach?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I was just wasting time before that, I'm not gonna lie.
Like what sort of stuff would you been doing before? Like, what was, like, you walked into the gym, what would you doing? As an uneducated Peadar that didn't know anything about
just
the gym.
Looking at some lad being like, he's big, what's he doing? And do that. Like, and that's why I talk so much about like copying people in the gym and stuff, because I don't want to position it as if you don't have a coach, you're wasting your time. That's not true. Like, I learned a lot of like Rob Lipsett, for example, would talk a lot of inspiration from people like him, and learned a bit. But like you said, the biggest turning point for me was just taking that wee leap. Bit of a financial hit. How is that, by the way? Nice.
I'm absolutely buzzing off. That's it.
give it a minute. But yeah, I think even just for starting, because I don't think coaching's forever. I think it's like, I describe it as like training wheels, or like a driving instructor. You know, you need it to get that start, and then you're away on your own. But I think a lot of people do waste their time. Not everyone, but a lot of people definitely. So
that's interesting. So you think it's like training wheels? Do you think you can have a coach and then drop a coach?
Definitely, yeah. I have 2 people leave me last week. They've been on with me for about 5-6 months. And they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, "I'm fucking happy for you. Like, I've given you enough in the last few months that you now feel you can go off on your own. I'm happy. Obviously, yes, I love long-term clients. You know, I have a lot of long-term clients, but some people just don't need that. Do you know what I mean?"
That's interesting. So some people don't need the accountability.
Some people don't need accountability. Well, forever. Now, Do I think they'd benefit from it? Yes, but that's not up for me to say. You know what I mean? Like, I think them going off on their own, they can do great. I think you can do better when you have someone with you. You know.
So say you like, I don't want to say drop, but say like you leave your coach. What other types of accountability can like a person seek to have then?
Well, what I do personally at the minute, I don't have a coach for my fitness at the minute. I left that very recently. I have like a grid in my room, and it's literally just every day I hit my steps, hit my calories, train, did my cardio, I'll take it off. I have it for 90 days. I plan it per quarter. You know, like 90 day quarters. I just take it off, and that sounds so stupid, but that's my accountability. I'm also in a group, that Alliance I'm part of. There's a group of us lads, about 10 of us. We have an accountability group as well, and I've just told them my fitness goals, told them my finance goals, focus finance, fitness, family, fun. So I've told them all the goals in that area, and they keep me accountable. So just get around people, basically. You know, it doesn't need to be a coach, but I would recommend paying for it. I pay for Alliance, you know, that big investment, big fucking financial investment. That's just skin in the game. You know,
so break down Alliance for what it is, because people obviously won't know what Alliance is.
That's it. That's Paul Mort's program. Why am I looking at the fucking camera? That's I work with Paul Mort, and that's like essentially a mentorship in business in the F5. That is just a business, you know, focus, mindset, everything. And because there's so many clients in it, we all split into our own accountability groups with people who we just sort of know.
Because this is massive. This is a massive thing at the minute, and people don't know about online coaches. The vast majority that I know of, and especially around this area that I've seen, are all actively investing in themselves to continue like developing their knowledge and stuff in programs like that, or like, is it Phil Graham and like
Phil Graham, yes,
people
yes,
like that. Like, they're all in those sort of programs. So like, I guess if you're going out and actually seeking a coach, make sure you're seeing that they're, you know, updating their learning and stuff like that.
Exactly. A coach without a coach doesn't believe in coaching.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, simple as that then.
Yeah. I had two, like I said, up till very recently. I was working with Josh Bridgman, absolutely fantastic coach, big bodybuilder. I was just sort of like, for the home workouts and stuff, this isn't working for me right now. And I said that to him. He's like, dude, completely understand, you know, come back to me whenever you're ready. I was like, yeah, let's stay on. You know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I fucking hate you, you're leaving me. Like, I was just sort of like, oh, I'm taking a break for now. He was like, that's okay.
And what do you think the people then that like are sort of being so, like, say you approach your like trainer or your coach or whoever, and you're like, look, I'm thinking of leaving, and then they started being like, well, how long? What if I offer you more money off? Or what do you think about that sort of stuff?
See, I think there's always in renewals and stuff, there's always a certain amount of persuading going on, obviously, because yes, you get money, but you can also help that person. So I think people need to want it. You know, if you can't just fucking force yourself on someone, like that's obviously that's not going to work. But to an extent, yeah, I've absolutely no problem.
Well, I guess as a coach as well, you don't want to take someone on board that doesn't want to do your shit. Doesn't look good on you.
That's my opinion of it. You see, like, people are like, oh, you should follow up and all, and I'm like, yes, I do follow up with people, but if they really don't want to work with me, we're not going to work well together. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to help them because they're not going to do the work because they don't want to be here. So yes, I'm going to try help people, but I'm not going to fucking...
Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't want to take someone's money and then them not get anything out of it, because it's 50% them wanting to do the work and 50% I suppose you giving them it, or whatever way you want to break that down, 60-40 or whatever. Like, the person at the end of the day has to want to do the...
Exactly, and if they don't, it's not going to work for them. That's it. You know, I think a lot of... There's a big movement now. People are investing in coaching, like say even coaches are doing it, and then I think a lot of people think you invest in and that's it. That's like, that's not the end of it, that's the start of it. You know what I mean? You now have the tools, now you need to actually use them, you need to put them in place.
So then whenever you pick up a coach, what sort of things should you be expecting to do? Like, how many... I know it's all... You can't really ask these general questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway. I know they're annoying. Right, but like, what sort of hours do you need to be like thinking in your mind, right, you need to be ready to dedicate this towards your online coach to give it a fair chance?
Do you mean if I had
like, if for you personally, like if someone came on board, you goes, like, I've only got like, you know, 2 hours, you know, you have people like that, but then like they don't think they've any free time at all, and realistically they do. Yeah, would you try and like open their schedule more, like, look, we need 4 to 5 hours a week or 6 hours a week to really make this worth your while?
It is for someone who came on to me, and they were short of time. I've just helped them. I've helped them massively with productivity and stuff in the outset. Now I would be like I have two clients at the minute who work night shifts. They work in hospitals, so obviously that's an issue with them. All we done was we just sort of work with their schedule. You know, I'm like, right, okay, let's go 3-4 sessions a week. Let's see what you can commit to, and then we'll just drive that up if and when we can. I don't really think you need you don't need to commit. Like, you just need to give as much as you can, and that's it. But I think a lot of people would say they don't have time when they actually just haven't really prioritized it. Yeah, I think that's a huge issue.
That's something I hate when people say you don't have time, because it's something I never did it, but like I would always like put something off to tomorrow. Yeah, so like that sort of thing. Like yesterday, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I spent all day. Yesterday was the first day, I think, of my life I spent all day doing something. Yeah, like, you know, I finished one task, moved on to the next, finished one, moved on to the next, and like I got everything done, and I just felt sort of, you know, good about myself. I was working up to like 9 o'clock at night, and then Friday went right off, load up the Xbox. I can finally relax, get into Verdansk, whatever it is I'm going to go do, play some COD. But like, I feel like a lot of people make them excuses on a daily basis. And do you find that much with like people coming to your coaching?
when they say it, I'm just like, right, show me your plan, and they're like, oh, I don't have one. I'm like, yeah, no wonder you're fucking busy. You don't have a plan. Make a plan, show me it, and then they'll find they've freed up hours straight away. It's never like I'm not that coach who's gonna like shout at you and be like, you do have the time, you don't want it badly enough. People are busy, I get that, but they're often not as busy as they think. I think that's the thing, you know. And I'm not a fucking productivity coach, but I am well enough versed in that area that I've given enough people advice on it that I can help people with that.
I guess it's really interesting. Well, it's like, I actually can't believe that you're only 20 years old.
People have said this to me a few times. Yeah, I've been told I look younger. A boy guessed I was 18. This was only a few months ago. I was like, oh yeah, cheers.
Isn't it funny how like you go through a stage of like always wanting to look older, and then people get to like a certain age, so you get to like 30, and you start wanting to look younger again. When you're trying to like, I don't want to look 18.
I don't know where that transition is. I think you just hit that fucking
yeah, you hit that like certain stage and you're just like, fuck you.
What is it? Do I not look 20?
You just no, I don't know what it is. You just talk like someone that's like figured out a lot of shit.
Thanks,
and
man.
a lot of 20-year-olds are idiots. I'm an idiot still. Like, you know, like people in their 20s you're still stupid. Like, people are very, very stupid. I know that sounds blunt, but like, you are. Like, you just haven't got a lot of life experience, but you seem like you've like a lot of personal experience there. It seems like you're talking from a lot of personal experience, and I guess like I try to do it as well as best I can, see both sides of every coin, but every point I've sort of thrown so far has been sort of like, I get this side, but this is what I think.
And that's the thing, and I fucking love that, because I know so many people be like, oh, does he not agree with me? But there's not a lot of more objectivity, and that's why I'm not like I know like James Smith and stuff, he'd say like fuck keto, and I love that, that's hilarious, but like I'm not gonna say that because some people like that, some people like this, some people like that. That's okay, it's not really up to me to decide. And
yeah, but it's not even that you're sitting on the fence, because you do have your opinion on it.
Yeah, but like,
but you can understand the other point of view.
Yeah, if you have an opinion on it, that's alright.
Yeah, because the other thing we sort of touched about, that I think as everything we touched on before us, you change your mind on things.
Fucking all the time, mate.
You change your mind, and like as you said, fitness is in its infancy.
Yeah,
like it really is a brand new thing. Like,
as am I.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and everyone until like what, I suppose until you're nearly off the face of the earth, you can still learn more.
Yeah,
really, like you can really learn more. But it's just fascinating how I think not set in stone, and especially when it comes to fitness, is a massive thing. So like, if you see a trainer maybe that's in transition, so like say like PT and the online coaching, or say they set certain styles of programming, and then transitions across, do you think there's anything at the minute that you've sort of got your eye on being, I wouldn't mind, you know, exploring that a bit more?
Fighting, like Muay Thai and stuff like
that.
Right,
okay.
Yeah, I got into that a bit before lockdown, like BJJ. Done a few BJJ sessions, done Muay Thai, but I tore ligaments in my ankle last year. Fucking injury.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like, I'm always injured, but yeah, it's so fun. Like it really is so fun, and it's so different, and it's like, you know, there's no phone, there's no any of that shit. It's just, you know, you're in that. And I actually did really enjoy that. So definitely more of that when that's open.
Because that's a fascinating one. A lot of people are getting into
that
aspect, and especially trainers.
That's why I hate it, because everyone's doing it. I'm like, no, I actually enjoy it.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are getting into it at the minute. Do you ever see yourself actually partaking, like, I suppose BJJ is a bit different, but like a Muay Thai fight or something like that?
Nah, that's like, it's the only like.
Who got hit that wee soft face? Look at you.
No, I get fucking killed. No, Muay Thai's good, but I wouldn't do it more than once a week alongside training, because they're fucking savages. Like I was going into the gym 3-4 days after, and I'm still sore from holding pads and them cunts kicking me, because they're just so strong.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would like fight in it or anything, and I'd probably be too heavy, because my goal is to be a bit bigger than I am now. So
okay.
You know what I mean? I know fighters want to be small, they don't want muscle. I do. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so your goal, I guess, long term, then, is it to become massive, as someone would say,
not even genetic limit, like literally just a wee bit bigger than I am now. I'm not overly bothered.
Yeah, no, so you just want to be sort of like relatively healthy looking.
Just like maybe a 6-pack, maybe bigger arms, bigger shoulders. I'm happy. Yeah.
The Love Island sort of shape.
Love Island shape. That's you've hit the nail on
the Love Island starter kit.
Yeah, literally. Like, no, I'm not. I don't want to get huge, because I sort of like, you know, like striking and stuff, and like I like the old cardio stuff, so I'd be more lean physique, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Athletic.
So like not competitions or anything like that?
No, I don't think I'd ever compete. I don't think I have the genetics for it, to be honest with you.
No.
That's the thing with competing, is I have no problem with it. Like I actually, like I said, my old coach, he competes, he's going to be an IFBB pro. I know people who compete and stuff. It's just, I think it's the type of thing you should only do if you're going to do quite well at it, and I'm not gonna. Like at 20, sitting here in front of you now, like I'm not that big. I would have to work hard for fucking years, use steroids and stuff to even do all right at it. So there's no point in me doing it.
What do you think of the whole steroids and topic? Because I know it's very taboo, steroids.
Yeah, it is, and I have no problem talking about it, because it's not something like, obviously I've never fucking done them or anything. But I was talking to Josh Bridgman about it, my coach. I had him in my podcast, because so when you're competing in bodybuilding, like the sort of elite for like this sort of region is like IFBB pro. That's like, you know, you get your pro card. you can't do that naturally. Like it doesn't say that in the rules, but you can't. I don't know anyone that's ever done it. He went for it twice, came second and third natural, which is fucking close. But then whatever year it was, they changed the rules, and they didn't say it, but he had to jump on cycle, had to start taking steroids. And I was talking to him about it, and he was like, listen, I don't really have a problem with it as long as people understand. And I'm of the exact same opinion. People can do it to be the biggest lad in the gym. People can do it to be an IFBB pro. People can do it to be the best fighter in the world. I think it's just important that you have a good reason, because it is actually really bad for you. Like,
yeah, and I think the other thing is, like,
I'll be honest about it as well. That's
exactly what I was going to say. Don't be walking around the gym, the big man, and you're not lying to us, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, and it's usually pretty obvious. But in saying that, there's a lot of people who are on gear don't even look good.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, like, you'd be surprised. Surprised.
So what is the whole thing with steroids? Because I don't really understand it from like a sort of science point of view. It's just, it genetically mutates your muscles so they can get to bigger sizes. Is that basically what it is?
Essentially, yeah. It's just you more, like testosterone, for example. You just have more testosterone readily available to you, so you're able to perform better. You're able to recover better. You know, your fucking sex drive goes through the roof. Like, just all these things. Like, just everything you have as a man now. You know, that's not me being misogynistic. That's just saying testosterone, male hormone, is just amplified.
Yeah.
And depending on the dosage you take and the other stuff you take with it, you can just explode. And that's why you see people blowing up in like their chest, shoulders, traps, because there's a high volume of what's called androgen receptors in there. So that's usually and I don't want to get too scientific, but that's as much as I'll drop on that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And I guess the other thing about it is, once you take it, you can never go back.
You're never natural again.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Your cells are somewhat.
Yeah, there's some. I don't know if mutated is the right word, but like something like that.
Whatever,
yeah. They've been modified, I suppose, or like bigger capacity, something along those lines.
You'll always have a genetic advantage over people who have never used. Once you do that, yeah.
All right, okay. So I guess we'll move on to. I think we've covered a lot of fitness stuff.
Yeah, I know. Fucking hell. Sorry if I rambled.
No, we've obviously, that was like a power cue of like fitness. Actually, one of the guys I had on was one of the CrossFit guys, and he was like,
I seen that.
He actually had to pull me and be like, we need to stop talking about CrossFit. He's like, that's all I do. And I was like, the people want to know.
I've actually never done. I'd actually love to try a bit of CrossFit.
People want to know. It was actually really interesting. He was saying, because there's a lot of like things about CrossFit about injuries.
Yeah, it's high risk of injury.
High risk of injuries, but he was making the point, like, it's like anything, if you're well coached in it.
And that's the thing, yeah. I even like Olympic lifting and stuff. Sorry, you've likes like Sonny Webster and stuff. Yes, he's lifting this mad weight, but he's also focused so much on his mobility, his strength. You know, they're doing all the prehab, so I suppose.
I was like, because then I was talking to Dominika, who's a Polish gymnast in this as well, and she was saying like with gymnastics, you're not going to pull your hamstring. It'd be very unlikely.
Yeah.
But you are going to dislocate your knee if you miss a landing or stuff like that. And it's the exact same. It's sort of the same across. You're just doing high risk movements, I suppose. And if that one thing does go wrong, like your hand slips off a bar from doing a muscle up or whatever,
yeah,
I don't want to be right.
But then you've that fucking. Did you see that boy Torres Pack on the bench?
Oh,
don't even fucking.
Who was the boy on it? What did he?
Larry Wheels.
And he, what was it, 240 pounds or something like that?
Something way more than that, I think.
Just standing there.
Yeah.
Pounds confuse me. I'm a kg person, but
it's give or take. It's about double.
Yeah. Oh, is it? All right. Okay.
I'm wrong on that, but I know it's like 70 kg is like 130, 140 pounds, something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, because I was just sitting there like, what? But yeah, you see the thing
literally
snap.
Oh, disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah, because a big part of my job in the gym is just making sure people don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that, and the big one's the leg press. Some of the videos in it are haunting, and everyone I see, I'm like, look, I will come over and scream at you if you lock your knee. I am not in the business of seeing that today.
I don't even want to think about that. It actually hurts my knees even thinking about that.
But yeah, we'll get on to it. I think I want to talk. I'm really interested in your social medias.
Okay.
And your stuff you do, and like your Instagram, like posting every day is a big part for you. You're saying twice a day.
Yeah.
Where do you pick that up from, or like what is it? Is there coaching out there for that you follow, or
no, not even.
Do you learn off your own stuff?
No, I just sort of like I have a strategy essentially. Like I know exactly who I'm talking to. I know exactly, like, I literally have a name in mind and everything. I know what he struggles with. I know what he thinks about. I know what he wants to know. I know what he needs help with. Sorry, girls, it is a boy. Because I would prefer to coach boys because, like you say, I always speak from personal experience. That's why I like to coach boys, because I get what they're going through. So for me, it's just a case of that. And it was Paul Moore who called me out on it. He was like, if you're not posting every day, get a new fucking job. That's what he said. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like you have time to do it.
That's the thing, yeah.
Basically.
I just took the hint.
Yeah, because you said earlier on about quitting your job in B&Q.
Yeah.
And leaving it. So what was that like in terms of, like, because obviously quitting any job to like pursue something you're passionate about can be difficult.
Oh, it was scary, definitely. It it was sort of at a stage, right? So like people are like, oh, like, you know, quitting, blah blah blah. But financially it was a smart decision at the time, because I was actually, I'm not going to disclose numbers obviously, but I was earning more off the coaching than I was in B&Q. So like it wasn't even like, oh, I was quitting to pursue my passion. I was just taking the smarter option at the end of the day. Obviously, like I only had enough money in the bank to get me by for a few months. Like I wasn't like fucking killing it or anything. I was like, I would rather quit, take that short-term financial hit and be happier and give more time to this, and I know it'll grow eventually, than stay here, because I fucking hated it.
Oh, really?
It was only part-time. It was 20 hours a week. Like, I just didn't enjoy it.
Just hated it that much.
I've never enjoyed a job ever, except this, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I've never fucking liked a job.
Would you say this is like your dream job?
Yeah, definitely. Working for myself was always on the cards, I think, but that and fitness, two things that I've always been passionate about, just sort of collided, and it was,
I think I missed this part. So in terms of leaving school, what did you do after you left school, or what age did you leave school at?
Oh fucking hell, this is another whirlwind of stuff. I just left school. I done my A-levels and all, you know, I done all that, and I was like, right, I'll go to uni. I think I was going to do HR management, which I didn't want to do. No offense to anyone who does it. I was like, all I was thinking at the time was, oh, it's high paying, you know. I think everyone goes through that leaving school. And then took a gap year instead, just to think about it, and then was working in the call center, and actually ended up.
Pause. I'm gonna pause you there.
Go.
So you left school and took a gap year. What was the thing that made you think gap year?
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, well, what is the thing? I don't even know. It was just something was.
Because everyone just goes.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to go up to Belfast or Liverpool or wherever the hell it is to go around here and just start partying. It takes a lot of balls to go, I'm not going.
I'm not that big of a partier, so that wasn't an issue for me. People always ask me that. They're like, oh, I was like, nah, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been overly fussed on it. It was just sort of like, I wanted time to think. I was like, right, if I can save some money, you know, give myself some breathing space, I can do it. And the plan was actually to go to Liverpool the following year, because my girlfriend was over there and all the boys were over there, so I was thinking that. And I ended up this is such a long story, man. Like, the last few years have just been so charted.
We've got time.
Yeah, right, okay. So I went over to Liverpool to visit when I was working Teleperformance. Funny enough, I actually had to take, like, they offered you like an advance on your wages because it was like a lion month.
Right.
I was that skint at the time that I took that to go to Liverpool. It was like 200 quid. I spent a whole fucking lot. Went over, and when I was there, I was like, I'm not leaving. And my girlfriend Annie, she was like, oh no, like, you need to leave. Like, I was like, I actually want to move over and stuff, and she was like, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Like, we were only going a few months at the time. And she was like, I'll tell you what we should do, go home, and if you still want to move back, come over. And I was like, right, she's fucking sensible. And like, I was just thinking, oh fuck it, I'll leave now, get a job. So I went home, thought about it, moved over Liverpool, which a lot of people don't know. Again, fucking podcast exclusive. Not something I talk about very often, but I moved over there, and the plan was to she was going to go to uni, I was going to get a job, just live over there for a year, just fuck about, live that student life that I was missing out on. And cut a long story short, there was a problem with her course, so she was going to drop out. And around the same time, I was just getting bored, because I didn't get a job in the month that I was there, didn't go to uni. So I mean, I was doing, when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Like, did you see that picture of me in the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning I put up like last week? That was in Liverpool, because I was sleeping 6 in the morning to like 2, 3, 4 in the day, and then just repeat. So
for no reason, there was no job there. That was your body clock.
It was like Christmas sort of time, so everyone was like hiring their temps and all. So it actually was a bit of a hard time to get a job, to be fair. But like, I wasn't trying that hard. Like, I was being a bit lazy. But I'm glad that happened, because I was so fucking bored and I put on so much weight. Yeah. And I fell back in love with training, like, fully there. And then I came home, I tried a different job. That's another story altogether. And then I finally got back in a routine with fitness. And then about a year later, all this has happened. Well, about 2 years later, actually.
That's fascinating, because like, so many people just don't take that plunge. And I think, how do you feel like it felt like to get out of the school tunnel? Did you take that year?
I fucking loved it though.
Did you feel like it like slowed things down for you? Did it like widen your perspective and things? Because I am adamant. I actually had a memory yesterday come up on my Facebook page of getting my university UCAS approved. Like, I finally got an offer. I went through, I watched my A-level mates go to uni. I didn't get in. I watched my SRC friends go to uni. I didn't get in. So it was actually like 3 years after everyone had gone. I finally got in. I remember like on the day of actually getting it, the reason I wrote about, I don't really post on Facebook, but the reason I wrote about it, I was like talking about like how like the day I got it, I was like so happy, I started crying, and like everything, like it was such a big deal for me to finally get into university and like tick it off. And what's funny now is it's now like my, I don't want to say fallback university, but like, do you know what I mean? It's like,
I know what you mean.
I've focused on other things, like whatever I'm doing with a degree business wise, like hopefully I'll not be doing that forever, sort of thing. But that year out where I worked and didn't get into uni, I worked in the leisure centre full time. Like, that was the best year in terms of like of how much I've learned, even out of school and everything. I learned more in that year being out of school than I don't think I could ever have learned being in university or school.
Definitely, yeah. And you were saying about like me, I seem like I have such life experience and stuff. I appreciate the compliment, by the way. I think that was probably from that gap year, because I think it sounds so cliche and stuff, but you just realize how fucking insignificant school time was in that time. You know, you're so young. I haven't even talked to half the people from school like since, you know what I mean, like, and it just doesn't matter. It's just sort of like, and I sort of got this big realization that I don't really care about like a big high paying job anymore. I don't really care what everyone else is doing. I just sort of want to do what I want to do, and I think that's probably the train of thought that made me move over to Liverpool. Train of thought that maybe start this, and I'm happy with it.
Because in the end of the day, and I know I'm in university, so I'm sort of like my own like sort of like enemy of this, but like at the end of the day, all you're going to do is get a piece of paper.
And that's, but so many people are like, oh, team uni, team fucking be an entrepreneur. I'm sort of neither, because I'm like, you know, like I have friends who, like Annie, for example, she loves what she's doing in uni. She's passionate about that. I'm equally as passionate about not going to uni. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think some people, like, if it's a course that you know, found it easy to get into, you probably just shouldn't go. You know, just take the time to think about it. And that was me. That's why I say that. Again, speaking of experience, just I just don't really have an objection to either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You've no real sort of strong feeling. Like, there's a load of options out there. And that was actually part of the thing I seen yesterday, because I remember going back and my careers teacher in 6th year told me, you won't make it into the business studies course at Ulster University.
Lovely.
And I sat there at the time. I was just annoyed. I didn't. Just some people said that lit a fire under me, and I wanted to work really hard. I just thought, fuck you. Like, I was like, who are you? You didn't want to be a careers teacher. Like, in my head, that's how I thought. And like a lot of people, I remember telling my own, like, that's such a stinking attitude to have. But I was just like, but I'm half right in what I'm saying. Like, no one sets out to be a careers teacher. Maybe if you're out there and you're studying to be a careers teacher, fair play to you. But like, nobody does. And I sort of like tailed off towards the end and going, did I feel like it lit a fire under me, and did it really make me push better to be like, you know, I really want to achieve this, to say fuck you? No, I didn't do it to say fuck you. I did it for me. In the end of the day, I did it because it was something that I sort of wanted to do. And while university isn't the be all end all, I picked a degree, and I'm only talking from personal experience here because I feel like there's a lot of people who can relate to this. I picked a degree that kept my options really open.
Yeah, definitely.
So I picked business, and
you can go so many different ways with business. Yeah,
I don't feel trapped in any way, and it like opens a lot of avenues for like different things you can sort of do. And I guess that's sort of the same with relating it back to the stuff you're doing with online coaching. Like, you can go into your niche. Online coaching is massive.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could go into, I know a guy, Josh Williamson, he actually taught me in the tech.
He's my first ever coach.
Was he?
Yeah.
Honestly, the smartest guy you probably have ever met.
Genius, fucking genius. Yeah.
Mad. If you're actually watching this, and like out of all you coaches and stuff that do this, he is the best educated. Yeah. That's not even close.
In terms of knowledge.
Yeah, in terms of knowledge and anatomy and like things like that, he's your guy. Yeah. Right? Because it might be a bit scientific for some people, but like even the other day he broke something down on cold water therapy. Julia, it's a big trend at the minute.
Yeah, it's such a big
And he was saying, like, but does it have any benefits for your muscle? He goes, there's no real research to suggest that it does.
Yeah.
There's nothing really out there, and you would automatically assume, oh, this is brilliant for me. Well, it is good for your mind and like all that sort of stuff.
Thing, yeah, I think the most people that do it is for that, and then people are giving them shit, be like, oh, there's no body benefits, and then like you're like, oh,
yeah,
I don't really care.
yeah, you're back to square one. Like, I like it in the cold water. Okay, that's it. Sometimes I just like doing things.
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be science related. But yeah, I've sort of gone on a wee bit of a tangent there, but for a rant.
I'm so sorry for anyone who's watching this.
Yeah, we're all over the place. But yeah, I just guess people like what we're sort of doing here ourselves is like follow your own path. What I always said was, don't make a list of what you want to do. Start with your list of what you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's I think that's important, and that's me saying like trying to go to Liverpool, trying to fucking be an electrician when I came back, trying to do all these different things, work on building sites, doing all that stuff. I realized very early on what I don't want to do. Yeah. And by chasing human resource management, by chasing wanting to be an electrician, both those I went for because I thought they were high paying jobs, which they are. But then I realized I was like, I don't care about that. I don't want to do this because it's high paying. You know what I mean? I would rather do something that I love, and I believe if I work hard at it, that will be high paying. Not that that's all that matters. But
don't get it twisted either. It's hard. It is very difficult to monetize something you love doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the thing. But you'll work hard at it, and it's effortless.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah,
generally, like, and I guess some people are like working for other people. I think I'm the same as you. I would really want to work for myself. Yeah, long term, like that's where I see myself going, and that sort of stuff I would definitely find really rewarding in terms of like just where you see yourself going. See, getting direction from some people, even like that careers teacher. I like telling people where to go sometimes.
And that's the big thing for me. I was listening to a podcast recently, and somebody was talking. He's like this big fucking millionaire entrepreneur or something. Someone was like, "What's the best part of being self-employed?" And I think they expected him to be like, "Oh, I have this car, I have this," and he was like, "Oh, I get my hair cut on Wednesday." They're like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "I can just go and get my hair," and I was like, "That's fucking true." Like, you just, you know, not like, "Oh, I wake up and do whatever I want." I don't. I have things I have to do every day. But like, if I want to go do a podcast interview on a fucking Tuesday, I can do that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I like about it.
exactly. I guess we'll sort of tailor this off. We've been going for a good hour here. We'll tailor this off. I say we'll tailor this off. Let's go for an hour 10 minutes for all I know, right?
Sweet.
But I guess like finishing up, like people going forward and are wanting to lose weight. Obviously, your expertise, calorie deficit.
Yeah.
That's all you hear about it these days.
I think everyone's jumping on that train, aren't they?
It's not even a train, but it's just like how is this not? You learn the food chart or some shite in school.
Yeah.
Where was the word calorie deficit?
It's just never. I think that's honestly. I think that's a massive just misinformation, or not misinformation. Like, what's the word for it? Like people just aren't educated on it. I think, and like people try to complicate things rather than just trying the simple thing. Because weight loss is the type of thing like you don't see a return straight away, so people look for the complicated quick fix and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just done the simple thing, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But I just don't understand how we've got to this stage where like, and again we talked about it earlier, how like we think that everyone knows now, but a lot of people don't know now, which is terrifying. Like you're telling someone they need to get in a calorie deficit, and they're like,
"Well, what does that mean?
What does that even concur of? Is there any truth in anything towards like, do you know them like mad diets, like keto diets, fasting diets? Are they all basically just ways of getting your calories down? Is that what constitutes them making you lose weight?
Yeah, essentially, right. So okay, I'll go keto because I'm not going to give an opinion on any of them. This is the one that I actually know quite a bit about, right? So keto diets, loads of different studies and stuff as to how they work for fat loss as opposed to just a calorie restrictive diet. Now, when you cut out carbs, you flush your body out of water. It's called glycogen stored in your muscles. You flush that out of your body, and you'll see drop on the weight like that. Yep. That's why you'll see like bodybuilders and stuff before shows. They'll flush out carbs, and then they'll carb up the night before a show to get nice and vascular, to get the muscles hard and stuff. And that's why people experience such quick fat loss off that. As well, sorry if this is boring. As well, you've high protein obviously in a ketogenic diet, which is a high thermic effect, which means when you're eating protein, you're burning more calories than when you're eating carbs or fats. So when people are ramming that way up and everything else way down, they're burning more calories and they're eating less food. So also another thing is carbs are a staple on most people's diet. So when they just cut that out, they're also cutting out this fucking majority of their diet. Like if you'd have cut carbs at a 15-year-old Peadar's diet, I would have ate nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
should be nothing left.
Yeah, I think that's the case for most people. Like, it's just like, oh, I kind of fucking waffles for breakfast anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you know what's interesting? You're saying that. It's interesting. See, when you're in school, I get fasting in school. When you're in school, what sort of grades or student were you like? Were you good at studying?
What was I like at school? What I get my GCSEs in it, an A, 5 Bs, 4 Cs. Like I was fairly average. Like I was like people are like, oh,
that's a good student. Yeah.
Like like people are like, oh, why'd you not go to uni? You know, whatever. I'm like, I probably could have went to uni. Like I got the A levels to go to uni and stuff. It's just, I don't know. I think my problem with school is I always got like, oh, Peadar's an underachiever. Peadar's this, Peadar's that. I think my problem was that I just wasn't interested, and that's such a typical someone who works for themselves thing to say. But like I was smart. I just couldn't direct it at like geography.
Yeah, because it's just the way you just conveyed all the stuff you just said about the diet.
Yeah.
If you put that in an exam booklet,
that's something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You could just see that you'd be that person first out of the hall, and everyone would be like, "Surely not."
And the A I got was history. I used to love history, exactly, and like that's what I always done well in because I loved it.
Yeah.
So I think that was the big thing for me. I think some people in school are just really good at like regurgitating information.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely no problem. It's going to get you very far, but. Yeah, it just wasn't me. Like, unless I was interested, I couldn't fucking. I could not learn it. Like,
I was definitely the same. I had far too many distractions in school. I could not. I think I just couldn't take. I don't know what it was. Nothing interested me.
And
really.
You come to that stage in school where you start like 60 or 70, you start getting into like drinking and girls and stuff like that. So it's just a hard time.
Yeah, but I think I was always just like in school. I'm a why person. Like everything you said today, like why, how. Joe, I always want. The reason behind everything. You said to a teacher, it doesn't go well.
No, it doesn't go well. Yeah, that's I got shouted at. I remember my mom telling me this when I was like a toddler, whatever you call that in play school, because I would always say, I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, tell Peadar to stop asking that. She'd be like, no, it's a good thing that he asked that. Like, that he's interested.
I remember I made a point to my maths teacher one day. We didn't see eye to eye to say the best times anyway, but I asked her, why do we need to know about prime numbers?
Yeah.
And she just lost it. I was like, I don't understand why I need to know about prime numbers.
Yeah.
Please explain this to me. And she is like, you're not going to get anywhere in life without prime numbers. And I'm just sitting there like...
I had one with my religion teacher. Now, I'm not going to bash religion. I'm not religious. But that's all it is. People want to believe that's completely okay. About euthanasia. And she was saying that she didn't like it and it shouldn't be a thing. And I was saying, I'm easy. You know, if people want to do it, they want to do it. Would I do it? Probably not. And she was saying how... like suffering was like part of the human condition because Jesus suffered. And I was like, yeah, no, listen, that's a fair point, but I still disagree. And she just couldn't get that. I was like, I have no problem with what you're saying. You're entitled to that, but she just, you know what I mean? Yeah,
there's nothing more frustrating when you're trying to make a point and they won't understand your point of view.
Exactly, because I don't I don't mind what she's saying. She can believe that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take that. I just don't.
Yeah. Oh, we better get out of these. We're going to go down some dark rabbit holes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, fucking abortion and stuff. And just don't touch it.
Pull out. Yeah, right. We'll finish up with a couple of sort of quick fire rapid questions.
I'm enjoying this, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's been good. A couple of quick fire rapid questions, because the last one I did here was an hour and 40 minutes with Emma, and I think the feedback was that is far too long to listen to you, Sean. So with a couple of quick fire ones, and I haven't actually wrote all these down, so I'll just get them off the top of my head. So I guess the big one people want to know is the main question I got was what can you do on a daily basis to improve your steps? Right, and I thought this would be a simple answer, but people say they really struggle to get their 10,000 a day.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for that's habits. It's the same with people ask me how do I get my steps in, how do I get my protein in, and the answer is the same. Mm-hmm. It's not about you're not going to just do it one day and that's it. Mm-hmm. Like for me at the minute, I wake up every morning, I do my ritual, and then I go for a walk. That's part of my routine. Yeah. But during the day, work gets a bit busy. I'll go for a walk after that. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's like a remedial process for me. I was going to walk here. I fucking wish I did when I realised how close it was. Yeah. It's just about getting that habit in, and for me, I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to audiobooks. I love listening to music. So rather than sitting down and doing that, I'll just go for a walk and do that. Mm-hmm. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, I don't think. But for example, today I'm on 11,000. It's 4 o'clock. Yeah. You know what I mean? It gets so easy over time. It is just a case of building up the habits, but you have to consciously do those things first, and then it's going to unconsciously happen. Okay. Someone else wants to know about. I think the question was in regards to sleep. Okay. So what is the big thing to do with sleep and recovery and setting up your day? Because a lot of people, the person I think was saying that they go to sleep at 3 and then they're in work at 9. So you're not really getting you're not getting a big full cycle in. Well, the thing with sleep, people always ask me, right? So I'm going to cover it in terms of fat loss first, because that's what I get asked a lot personally. It doesn't directly impact your fat loss. If you eat 2,000 calories on Monday, sleep 2 hours, 2,000 calories Tuesday, same amount of calories. But I know anecdotally, and I know a lot of people know that when you don't sleep well, you're just fucked. Do you know what I mean? You don't give as much to your training. You're less likely to want to diet because your mood, your state isn't good. So I think it's very important in terms of recovery, in terms of brain function. I think you definitely need to prioritize it. And I don't even enough. I have them blue light blockers and stuff for when I'm working and when I'm watching TV, but I leave my TV on at night, and I'm on my phone late at night. I know I shouldn't be doing these things, but I have a good mattress, good pillows, good blanket. I have a cool room and stuff. It's not cool as in it's cool stuff in the wall. The temperature is cool. Pictures of hot girls on the walls. Motorbikes, man. But yeah, it's definitely something you should be prioritizing, especially if I'm assuming if they're working at 9, it's a 9 to 5 sort of thing. That's a long working day. You need to give yourself that whole day. So because people have different feelings on what good sleep is. So 6 to 8 hours, or what is the 6 to 8 hours seems to be the general consensus. But I would say it's subjective. Yeah, so each person, you could find you function fine off 5 if you're Superman. Yeah, but, apparently not, but if you feel you're okay, then yeah, why not? And is oversleeping a big thing? Yeah, that's a big thing. That was a big thing for me. I just felt very groggy and very sluggish, and I never fully woke up during the day. Yeah. So for me, I get in and around 8, maybe 9 some days, and then it's up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And would you just do you try to create that routine as in go to sleep at 1, wake up at 9, so that's your 8 hours or whatever, or is it just about setting your phone for that 8 hours when you do decide to go to sleep? Well, I still set an alarm, but your circadian rhythm, it's called fucking sciencey. It's gonna eventually adapt, but I would still set an alarm. So is that what you mean? Yeah. I'd set an alarm. Yeah, just to make sure you don't want to fucking sleep all day. Yeah. I have sorry to the person with the question, but I find it hard to relate to sleep because I have the gift of God, or I can fall asleep like that. Yeah, literally lights out, and anywhere apart from a moving vehicle, I'll fall asleep, no problem. Ask me to lay on the floor, I'll fall asleep, no problem. It's an absolute gift, and people go oh, I couldn't get sleep last night. I just can't relate to you. So that's why I'll definitely get better to jump on this one. I think another thing is activity during the day. I don't struggle to sleep nowadays if I'm training hard during the day. If I'm doing that 100 miles in March thing, just be fucked. You know what I mean? By the time I'm getting ready for bed, I'm ready for fucking bed. Yeah. So just move more during the day. Oh yeah, the 100 miles in March. We didn't even cover that. We didn't. Yeah. Right. Spill the beans. What's going on there? A mate of mine and a client of mine, Matthew, texted me and was like, I'm thinking of doing a fundraiser. Do you want to get involved? You could get your clients involved, make it fitnessy. I was like, yeah, what do you want to do? He was like, I want to raise money for Smartens. And I was like, okay, why? Shocked me asking. He was like, well, with the lockdown and stuff, I just want to show the positive impact of exercise on mental health, training and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's a brilliant idea, mate. Yeah. That's really, really nice. And one of my big goals for the year was to do a charity fundraiser. I don't even know why I put that on there, but I just did. Everyone's been doing them. Well, everyone I've talked to is about doing some sort of charity fundraiser, or some sort of challenge sort of thing. I need to get one.
I need to figure something out. I'm gonna like brainstorm maybe like
Yeah.
something mad I'm gonna do.
24-hour charity podcast.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, could you imagine? This computer will explode.
Yeah. No, well, he said that, and I was like, yeah, fuck it. And when he said the 100 miles, I was like, easy.
Yeah.
I was gonna go 6-4 rest, and then I done the first 6 miles. It was fucked. Had to take a day off.
Miles is a lot longer. That's why I always measure my runs in kilometers. I feel better about myself.
Yeah, exactly.
5k is a lot easier than 5 miles.
Yeah, but no, I'm doing like 3.12 a day at the minute. I overshot, so I'm back to 3.12. It's not that hard in terms of fitness. You know, I've adapted that pretty quickly. I think I'm able to like put my mind somewhere else. Like I'm not, just focusing on how tired it is. I'm good at that. I'm good at training, but my knees is the only thing. My knees are fucked.
Right. Okay.
This. Like my knees are really, really sore. So that's the only hindrance so far. But it's for a good cause, and that's so.
Yeah, so that's good. So tell me a bit more about Smartens then.
Well, personally, I don't know a whole lot about them. I just know it's like, I know it's a phone hotline for mental health.
No, yeah, that's fine. Just as long as people know.
And that's exactly what he was doing it for.
Okay, that's brilliant. A class. Yeah, I'm definitely going. I need to get myself one of these challenges. That's I actually like the idea of that. Now you said that.
Yeah.
A 24-hour podcast. I would be.
Just don't get me on. I'm fucking sleeping.
I'm gonna need a lot more of these things.
You can see jittering there.
See, I'm shaking all over the place. I will sleep well tonight. Well, I sleep well every night, but extra well tonight. Other questions people had. I'm trying to think. There was one more good question in there. I think it was to do with like gyms reopening, advice for gyms reopening, and what, like, as someone that doesn't know what they're doing, what do you advise?
Is this someone who's trained before?
Someone who's like limited training knowledge.
Limited training knowledge is probably just start small when the gyms reopen. I think a lot of people's going to go back and try lift what they were lifting before. Do what they're doing. That's just not going to happen. You're gonna just tire something. You're gonna hurt yourself. For someone who's just getting it, go read about it. Go learn about it. Get a coach if you want to. I do coaching, by the way. But like just get some sort of knowledge, because not like you're wasting your time, but you can get there a lot faster if you have the right guidance, the right knowledge. So definitely get on that.
Okay. I think that's everything. I think we've covered a lot of stuff. Wrap up for me just in a couple of nice wee words. What do we expect from Peadar in the future? What's coming? What's down the line? Because I said to you yesterday, I anticipate big things coming from you, because your social media's on point, your coaching's no bullshit, people get results, everything seems to be in place for good line success. So what can we expect in the future?
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing for the fucking foreseeable, mate. Like for the next few years, hopefully. I'm just going to keep up with the coaching game. Like I've no big plans for anything else, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Appreciate the compliment.
No, it's like definitely exciting stuff ahead. I am fucking shaking with this caffeine. Like I'm all over the place. So I think that'd be a good point to end it. Again, Peadar, thanks so much for coming on, and I really, really appreciate it. I hope everyone listening appreciates it too, because I've had an absolute blast.
I actually really enjoyed this. I'm not even that nervous or anything.
Yeah,
go for another hour here.
Yeah, well, that's another person said to me. A couple of people have come on and been like, you know what, I felt fairly comfortable, so I guess I'm doing an alright job on this end.
Fucking fair play, mate.
And make sure you check us out on Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube, all those places. This will be live this Sunday, so you should probably listen this Sunday. Hello everyone on Sunday. And I'll see you all again in the next one. Thanks, Peadar.
Amazing stuff. Thanks, mate.